Hello again, everyone, and welcome to The Crusher. I'm your host, Josh Brewster, with my lovely and talented co-host, Susan Olson. Susan, how you doing today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Well, I really enjoyed our talk yesterday, and I thought there was a really good show at you addressing all those rumors. So if anybody hasn't checked it out, be sure to check it out. So, Susan, we had an interesting week in the news. And I guess we'll start with the big.
Oh, we always.
We always do. We'll start with the big story, and I have to admit, I did not watch the Kamala Harris interview with her emotional support dog, or emotional support governor Tim Walz at her side, with the very tough ABC or whoever interviewed her.
No, CNN.
Dana Bash.
Dana Bash. I
Yeah.
mean, she's as tough as a wet noodle.
Yeah. So,
well, she would be if it was a Republican. I
yeah.
have
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me your take on it? Because I'd love to get filled in on it. I didn't have the emotional strength to deal with this nonsense, because I remember how, we laughed about this the other day, the questions for Barack Obama, like what makes you so wonderful and all this business.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you tell me your take on it?
Well, I did feel the way you did. I thought, I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to be disgusted. And there are certain things, like there's websites like Occupy Democrats that make me so angry, it's bad for my health. And I figured that this would do that, but you got to be aware. I'm constantly saying that people aren't aware of what's going on, so and you have to listen to the opposition. And I needed to know how well does she come across, and to that effect, I'm very upset. I think for the average person that doesn't know anything about the issues, she looked very good. She seemed well spoken, so we know the can memorize lines and perform them fairly well. I just, to me, she is the epitome of the kind of person who's really, really, really passionate. Like, I'd hate to have her as a boss, because she's really patronizing and answers your question but doesn't answer your question because she has no respect for you. So she just kind of dances around it and basically says, well, honey, I understand you feel the way you do, but I'm right and you're wrong. Now go away and have a nice day. That's the attitude that I got from her, and I think that is the attitude that is at the core of her being. Because even though now she'll start spewing Trump policies, because she knows those are popular, I don't sense any core there, that anything is coming from an actual understanding of what she's talking about.
Well,
I can't hear you.
No, sorry about that. It's my fault.
Yeah.
I know that she's talking now, and her people are talking now about she was always in favor of fracking. She was never against fracking. And now she wants a border wall, which is very interesting, because I heard that Donald Trump was a racist because he wanted a border wall. So we've talked about that. What? One thing that strikes me is I think she feels entitled to everyone's vote. You know what I mean? She just...
she struggles.
She doesn't feel like she doesn't feel like she has to earn it.
No, she didn't have to earn it. Yeah. DEI didn't earn it.
Well, now it was Biden who said, "I'm going to pick a woman of color." So which is what Trump should have said when he was asked about that. It was Biden who said that. But okay, so
right. He doesn't answer questions well. The man doesn't speak well. I wish I could write for him. I wish I could be.
I know.
I hope that Tulsi does a good job of prepping him.
So okay. Well, Kamala Harris, look, it's amazing to me. I mean, she absolutely refused a debate on Fox News. You would think she would welcome it. You would think she would welcome it out. It would.
If you know who she is.
Yeah, but people are going to line up and vote for this, and it blows my mind that she's not subjected to the press peppering her with questions every day. Meanwhile, Trump welcomes it. He welcomes it. He talks to anybody, and it just doesn't register. And I'm very struck. What does it say about us, Susan, when she's really going to prove that you don't have to go into any depth of thought for a major election like this? It's real simple, and we're looking for simple-minded. We're not looking for you to think too much. We're just asking you to feel. What does that say about us?
I think what it says about us is that we could be the first empire to fall because we voted to fall, that it was our own choice.
Well, I've been reading The Dying Citizen. I read The Dying Citizen by Victor Davis Hanson, and he talks about empires going far beyond their means. And there's a couple issues. We at the expense of our own people, we are involved in a lot of things around the world that is costing us a lot of blood and treasure that we shouldn't be involved in. But one of the things he talks about in The Dying Citizen is the literal dying citizen, which is that, and we're going to get to this next. This thing, and we've gone over the border a million times, but this thing where citizenship means nothing, and we're just going to import residents, and residents matter as much as citizens, and residents
more so.
Whether they're illegal or not, and they have no allegiance to the country. And it's okay if anybody just comes walking in here. Your democracy is really going to die because if you need a citizenry that has responsibilities, and we're importing many, many tens of millions of people who don't, and giving away the treasure to them.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have given the future for our kids and our grandkids. We have given it away. We didn't even sell it. We gave it away. When you have Venezuelan gangs in Aurora, and I know that the left are saying, "Oh, that's being exaggerated."
No, it's not. It's not.
No,
it's not.
It's not. And the fact that it's happened anywhere even once.
No, it's
the fact that we have something called squatters' rights. What is that? Where did that come from? Who initiated it? And when are we going to end it?
Yeah, and
somebody can come in and go, I want your house, or I want this apartment building. You got to get out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's give me free stuff. Give me free stuff, baby. Give me free stuff all the time, I think is the song. And I think that something has changed drastically between bailing out the student loans and everything, free stuff for illegals, giving hotels to illegals, giving food to illegals, and again, bailing out the student loans, and then the Obamacare and every other thing under the sun, and no one ever stops. Like Milton Friedman said, no one ever stops. You can have an open border, or you can have a welfare state, but you can't have both. And
right.
And now you want both. And
exactly, and you cannot. I mean, these are the people that will be fine with the government saying 2 + 2 = 5, because obviously they can't do math.
Yeah.
You cannot have a welfare state and open borders.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yep. No.
You can't.
Yep.
I mean, it's like even like when Kamala says that she's going to make the child tax credit $6,000 for the first year of a child's life. That's not a bad idea. But tell me, where are you getting the money?
Well, plus also,
what are you taking it
but
from?
It's all funny money, Susan. You talk trillions of dollars, and it just, people can't even conceive of these dollars. And then there's like the $25,000 she wants to give for home buyers. So that just
which got passed in California.
Well, it's more than that, actually. You're right, but we'll get to that.
Oh, it's 150. Yeah.
Yeah, and the which just jacks the price of homes by $25,000 is what it does. And it's interesting because we have movies like The Big Short that indict Wall Street over the previous housing crisis, and that's all fine and good. But one thing they passed over, and I was in Improv Olympic with the man who wrote it and won the Oscar for it, Adam McKay, and he is a hardcore socialist and a hardcore leftist. And they in that film, if you notice, there's only one mention of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And it was a big failing of that movie, but the movie wins Oscars and it makes the Hollywood left happy. But when you talk about the government giving these guarantees, the government screwed up the housing market as badly as anybody else because the government decided that anybody and everybody should have a house. And if you're only able to afford a $150,000 house and the house costs $500,000, we're going to help make it happen for you. So that plus Wall Street destroyed the process. But do you understand? You see, it's not the big bad capitalist guy. The government guarantees is killing. Yeah. They're killing us. So on that note, let me talk now because Nancy Pelosi, this useful idiot.
Well, and also, I want to add to that that all of these people that potentially will get placed into their homes, they're going to lose those homes just like they did in 2008.
And then Susan is going to pay for them, and Josh is going to pay for them.
Yeah, because
and for the banks,
you gotta bail out the banks,
and you have to get
corporate
them
welfare,
and give them their bonuses. This is you talk about fascism. That's the corporate and the government working with corporations. I mean, it's utterly insane. And then, of course, it's always the big bad capitalist guy. But okay, so Nancy Pelosi goes on Bill Maher the other night, and she says that she is. She blurts it out. By the way, she says it. He says you have like 20 million undocumented people in the country. And she says, we want to make them documented. And he says, well, she said it. She said it out loud. And then and then the audience applauds. Okay. Then he says, and they're talking in California, they just passed a bill to give up to $150,000 to illegals, to people who are undocumented, okay, for a home. And she says, well, I think we just want to extend the American dream to everyone who's here. And
even if you haven't earned
it. And you're not supposed to be here. That is the dying citizen. I can't afford a home. And let me tell you something. My wife and I earn a good living. We cannot afford a home of our own in California.
My son and his girlfriend can't afford to rent anything.
Okay.
But you can't, right. I mean, if you're going to give the opportunity, what about American citizens?
This is so outrageous. This is so totally outrageous.
But you see, it's designed to be. I can't help but believe that this is supposed to make us all go, when we have Venezuelan gangs at our door saying, this is my house, we are supposed to go nuts, and we are supposed to become violent so that they have an excuse to kill us.
And they will be voting in a few weeks. Please don't tell me they won't be voting in a few weeks, because they will. And
of course they will. That's the whole point of having them here. And the whole point, I think part of the point of early voting is that, there's always the possibility that the poopy's going to really hit the fan just before Election Day. And people might want to change their vote once, a brick falls on their skull and they go, I see what's happening.
In 3 weeks, the Soviets, I'm sorry, I meant Democrats in the American Congress. In 3 weeks, you and I are going to sit here and do this show, and they will have remanded Donald Trump to jail. Okay. And
at jail where he is certain to
it won't be. I'm just going to predict right now. It won't be home arrest. Oh, they'll have to have the Secret Service in there. They're not going to. I mean, come on. They'll have to
And we can
that
count
much.
on Biden's
That
Secret
that much.
Service.
Yeah, right. I know that much they'll have to do. But I'm telling you, they have taken every opportunity. They have taken a misdemeanor and turned it into a misdemeanor that was beyond the statute of limitations and turned it into 34 felonies. What would make anybody think that judge is not going to remand him into custody immediately?
Yeah, I just don't get it. I hear people, in podcasts and such saying, well, they can't do
Yes,
that.
they
And
can.
they can't do this.
Yes, they can.
I mean, we heard this one that said they can't make Kamala the candidate because she's too unpopular. Bull!
Susan,
All they have to do is get the media on their side, and you put all kinds of lipstick on that pig.
the Supreme Court said you can't do these student loan bailouts, and he did them anyway. What do you mean they can't? Of course they can. They do whatever the hell they want. They can do that. Whatever.
I just found out something because I agree with Kennedy that our food supply is in dire shape. Do you remember everybody, and I thought this was such a good sign, everybody voted for a simple law that made the cages for pigs that were going to be slaughtered, made them big enough that they could turn around. People didn't know that how inhumane
Right.
our
Yeah,
food supply is. And I'm like, okay, so people overwhelmingly voted for that. Well, good. That's a start. That was never implemented. The powers that be said, well, we don't like the way they voted for that, so we're not going to apply that law.
Yeah.
Look at Prop 187. We voted for that. They said, well, no, we can't. We didn't expect you to vote for that.
Give us a reminder of what Prop 187
Oh, that was that illegal aliens could only receive emergency medical treatment.
Yeah.
They couldn't get health care. They couldn't get welfare.
And then they gave it to them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was deemed unconstitutional, and then we were told that the Constitution is for anybody standing in this country, not citizens. Which sounds to me like we need a little rewrite.
Again, we'll come back to The Dying Citizen. It is, and it's a book worth reading, by the way. I would highly recommend it because, and also the bureaucracy. There's a bureaucracy that does not get voted in or out that you can't do anything about, and Trump tried to deal with the deep state. I think Trump is the boy with his finger in the dam right now, Susan. I think it's long. I think we're past the edge now because when you stop and think about this, there's these places where they detained illegals under Obama, and then they became cages under Trump, and then when Biden got in, they were okay again, or nobody paid any attention. And
funny.
It's interesting. By the way, let's talk about this for a moment. Donald Trump showed up at Arlington National Cemetery to honor the dead from Afghanistan. And let me just pull this up. Oh, here, I got it here. Donald Trump showed up at Arlington, and Biden is on vacation. He took a vacation, then he took another vacation. Evidently, he sent some kind of a statement to this, but they had a memorial for these people who died 3 years ago. These
the people he got killed?
Oh, yeah, the people Biden got killed. So Trump shows up. Biden does not show up. Harris does not show up. And it's interesting. So this Kelly Barnett goes on NBC News with Garrett Haake. And Kelly Barnett's son died in the Afghanistan debacle. And Garrett Haake says that he asks her, he says, do you think that, let me get this, what would you say to people who may be pro-Trump, anti-Trump, whatever their politics might be, who just feel that that's not a place for politicians or politics, that the Arlington ceremony for this disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, this is the NBC News guy, Haake, saying, maybe it's just this, he's just excusing Biden's absence. What do you say to people who think it might just not be a place for politicians? What the hell?
Well,
It's not a place for politicians at Arlington National Cemetery when you're talking about 13 people killed in Afghanistan. What?
well, I understand Biden. Most murderers don't return to the scene of the crime.
You should
I
go.
mean, it would be hypocritical. Look, if he showed up there, he'd get skewered even more.
Here,
And Kamala, who proudly says that she helped make that decision to pull out of Afghanistan, leave behind billions of dollars worth of equipment to the Taliban, and continue to send money to the Taliban. Um, so I think they would have been skewered more if they had shown up. And Donald Trump did do it as a political move. He did, but they just don't like it because it looks good on him.
Well, let me say this. Okay, let's say it's politics, but I'm going to tell you something. I think he's sincere. I do.
I do too.
I do think he cares.
And he knows.
I think he cares beyond politics, honestly. And I think if he was out of office and not running, I think he would show up. You know what I'm saying? What is he such a? I mean, I think he cares that these guys were left, and that $85 billion worth of stuff, worth of our gear is left there. They're parading it. Taliban's parading around. I think Trump cares. Let me tell you the woman's name. Her name is Kelly Barnett Hoover, and her son, Marine Staff Sergeant Darren Taylor Hoover, was killed during a suicide bombing August 21st, 2021 in Kabul. So anyway, Garrett Haake says, what about people who just feel it's not a place for politicians or politics? To which she replies, quote, I would have to say, are you in my shoes? She says, I invited Trump. My son was murdered under the Biden-Harris administration. And that pretty much says it all.
Yes. Yes, and I agree with you. Trump actually cares. Trump is also thinking to himself, if they had followed his plan would have avoided this. This never would have happened.
It
happened deliberately under Biden because he deliberately left all that equipment. And we have the biggest madrasas in Afghanistan that Islam has ever seen.
Let's run down the list of things that could have been kept intact and Biden could have gone on with his agenda. We'll talk about a few things that were working. And in my view, a guy like the 1992 Bill Clinton would never have disrupted it. He would have just moved on with his agenda. But here's what they are. Let's start with this. The withdrawal from Afghanistan, where Trump had a plan for that. Biden trashes that. You see the results. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the border is under control. Biden could have kept it intact and moved on with his agenda, right? No. He had to open the border. Okay. Then another thing, gas is $2 when Trump leaves office. We're fracking, we're energy independent, we're drilling oil, we're exporting natural gas, and he comes into office and he trashes the whole damn thing. So, and he could have kept it intact. He said, that's good. I'll take $2 a gallon and I'll move on with my stuff, but just leave it. The guy had it right. Leave it. You're in office, but no. They had to undo everything. And this is what plays into the idea that they really are socialists who want to collapse the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you got it. Ding, ding, ding. You and the Chrysler. Yes, because these things were working. And that's why you had to get rid of them, because they were doing good for America. You can't have anything that does good for America if you're trying to collapse the whole thing. I mean, at this point, you'd have to be stupid to not see that this is all intentional. We are supposed to collapse.
Susan, okay, so now where did we begin? We're going to go back to Harris not talking to the press and getting in on good looks, race, and gender. You just said you'd have to be stupid to not see this. And I would ask half the country that's going to vote for her, why are you so stupid? Why are you so stupid that you can't see this?
I did kind of ask that on Facebook this morning. I said that, you have the democratic process is completely circumvented to install a woman of character, and feminists think a woman of color, not character. And feminists think this is good. I thought the zenith of stupidity was a women's march led by a Sharia law advocate.
Yeah. Yep.
But this is even dumber.
Oh,
And it's like, and the feminists are going, I would say, okay, enjoy your totalitarianism. And I think a lot of these people actually do want a government that will make their choices for them because they can't make their own. I think they really do want that safety net. But the thing is, this country wasn't designed that way. It's like trying to drive a boat on land or a car into the water. This country was designed to give the citizens freedom, but with freedom you have to take care of your own
it comes
things.
with responsibility. There's a lyric.
Yeah.
There's a lyric. We don't want freedom. We don't want justice. We just want someone to love. It's a song called "People Like Us" by hardcore leftist asshole David Byrne. And I love Talking Heads. I worship Talking Heads.
I do too.
But I think David. I absolutely love Talking Heads. But I can't stand David Byrne. He's in the Roger Waters camp. He hates Israel, and he's always signing on with Elvis Costello and Roger Waters and Peter Gabriel and all these
and
people.
I love Elvis.
And Eric Clapton and all these people. But yeah, we don't want freedom. We don't want justice. We just want someone to love. Well, they found someone to love. And, Susan, I keep thinking, there's not going to be an announcement with a big, May Day parade with red flags everywhere that we've gone to the other side. But the history books will look back at this era and they'll look at a number of decades, and I'll be dead and gone. And they'll look back and they'll say, this is really where they caved. You know what I mean? Like they caved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They caved. It's not going to be like, on one day. Do you know what I mean? Like 70,
no,
75, 75 years from now, they're going to look at a certain era and they'll say, that's the era. That's the 50 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, this is historic times.
Like when RFK talked about, he just offhandedly said to Chuck, he goes, Europe is lost. Okay, Europe is lost.
There's no place to flee.
Europe is lost. Yeah, and so when is America lost? And I feel terrible for my kids because I just see this government of giving out the goodies and picking winners, and it's just they're going to look back at an era, and I don't know when it's going to get so unbearable. But Susan, I'll tell you one thing that is, I think, happening right before our face in real time, and people have marveled at it, is the thing about America is we have states, and there are states that are bleeding working people, and this California is one of them. And one of the things that is happening is migrations of people within the country who will not put up with this set of rules anymore. And I think that's happening. You know what I mean?
Well, I've always said the first state to secede, if camel crap gets in, the first state to secede and get out of the union is where I'm going to move. Because I don't want to be a part of this country if she's the leader.
No.
I mean, I would give her a little chance. But, so many people, it's going to, these celebritards that we talk about that are great artists, and I'd kind of like to say something about De Niro, but it's going to take them the longest because
they're unaffected. Have great wealth. Yeah, they have great wealth.
Yeah.
No. They're on penthouse.
They don't have anybody squatting in their homes.
No, and that's and again, we've talked about it, but that's why I thought DeSantis was brilliant, dropping off the illegals in Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
And all I can say is, Ron, why aren't you doing that every 3 or 4 days? Why?
He was criticized. The guy needs that.
Do it every week. But anyway, so short of secession, it is interesting, Susan, when certain states play by certain rules, and people say, I will go there because I can't deal with these rules. And it's an interesting thing. Not every country has that, where you have states. You know what I'm saying? Not every country has that, where you can say, all right, different set of rules over here.
But look at all the people that have left California because of the taxes and whatnot, and they go to another state and they vote for Democrats.
They vote
for the very same policies that ruin California.
They bring their same shitty ideas to other states. Yeah, but it's interesting that And by the way, it's not just the taxes. I mean, you're right. It's not just that. It's this. I go to the emergency room and it's a healthcare clinic for illegals, and it's unacceptable. I mean, it's just
We lost 80 when Victor Davis Hanson wrote
yeah.
Mexifornia.
I interviewed him when he did. Yeah,
Okay, I mean that was what? How many years ago? 10,
2006. It
15?
was 2006. It was
Okay. So at that time, California had lost 80 emergency rooms because they could not afford to operate because of all the illegals. And now I think a lot of people said, well, that's why we have to give them health
yeah,
insurance.
and give.
No, how about closing the border?
Yeah. Yeah. What about So what did we have in San Diego? We talked to J.J. Carroll a couple months ago. He was a San Diego Border Patrol agent, right? But just this week, they had they had an instance where a whole bunch of illegals tried to hop on a children's school bus. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw it. Yeah, try to hop on a school bus. Then, of course, in Denver, we had the Venezuelan gang going through this apartment building.
Yeah, and there's other footage too of less known crimes and just blatant criminal activity. Imagine being a parent and knowing that you have to put your child on that school bus every day because you have to go to work. You don't have the option of saying, "Well, I'll drive you to school." It's horrible, but
And we
they
got to
don't mind coming after our kids.
and we have to put the illegals in our schools. Okay.
Oh, of course.
So okay now,
And
so your kid,
we have to teach class in Spanish, and maybe your kids or not Spanish because it's not. I don't want to see Hispanic people being the only villains here.
no,
We've got Chinese people. We have people from all
people
of the
from all over
terrorist
the world. Yeah, no,
countries.
all over.
Yeah, so I mean, none of these people can speak English. A lot of them, although they're not bringing their kids, thank goodness. There's not going to be a huge overload of our school system, but a lot of these people that are coming over are military-aged men, and they're illiterate in their own language.
Yep.
How are they supposed to get a job here?
Yeah. Well, maybe they're not. Maybe we're just going to give them welfare. Maybe we're just going
Their job is to be soldiers.
if you're sitting in some third world country and I offer you a pittance and maybe I give you a place to live and all these goodies, it's got to be better in America. Well, wouldn't it be better in America? Even I'd rather be impoverished in America than be middle class in half of the third world. But anyway, this is where this is. I mean, look, we're just a few weeks away from electing more of this.
Yeah,
I mean,
and people are enthusiastically voting for more of it.
I cannot
It's
even.
like idiocracy.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. We'll be living in that hellscape where people can barely speak. They've been devolved. What a great movie. They've devolved to basic grunts. Just a bunch of grunts. And
you talk really gay.
All right.
Go away, baiting.
Well, let's finish with this. Brazil, country of Brazil. Brazil, by the way, is the B in BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India. I'm sorry, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Buy some gold, folks. Okay? Just want to let you know. Just put it in a safe somewhere as a hedge. All right. Brazil started blocking Elon Musk's social media platform X early Saturday, making it largely inaccessible on both the web and through its mobile app. Brazil is afraid of freedom of speech. And what did Musk say? The X said the company issued a statement when we attempted to defend ourselves in court. Judge De Moraes, he's a Supreme Court justice in Brazil. He threatened our Brazilian legal representative with imprisonment. And even after the X's Brazilian legal representative resigned, he still froze all of her bank accounts. And this article reminds us that Twitter has been banned in several other countries, mostly authoritarian regimes such as Russia, China, Iran, Myanmar, North Korea, Venezuela, and Turkmenistan. Also, other countries such as Pakistan, Turkey, and Egypt have also temporarily suspended X before. But Elon Musk scares the hell out of the world. And I wish I could remember the man's name on the social. He's being jailed in Europe or being pursued in Europe.
Oh
What is his
yeah.
name?
Oh, I can't think of it.
It doesn't matter.
I'm
Well,
terrible with
listen,
names of people I
Elon,
know.
Elon Musk has scared the hell out of the world, Susan, because of freedom of
Oh
speech.
yeah.
Scared the hell out.
The biggest enemy of the tyrant is free speech. And so I would say today the biggest enemy of tyrants is the internet. And it's not that they are afraid of misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation. They are scared to death of the
Yes.
truth.
Oh, and by the way, all those terms you just use are Orwellian terms.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
there's no, because when the day comes that I decide what's misinformation, no one's going to like it. So it's an Orwellian term. And disinformation, they're not going to like my concept of, or your concept of disinformation. It's all bullshit.
Well, they actually have a word for that though. It's malinformation, and malinformation. They're very clear about this. Malinformation is anything that's true,
Yes.
but the government doesn't want
That's
you to
correct.
know.
And remember, Elon Musk, the terrible Elon Musk, is also the guy who exposed the fact that, yes, the people who owned Twitter before he bought Twitter and renamed it X, they were colluding with the government. That is what scares the government. And also on that note, since the last time we spoke, Mark Zuckerberg wrote an explosive letter to the House Judiciary Committee, wrote it to Jim Jordan. By the way, Jim Jordan, one of the only people in Congress got any balls, okay?
Yes.
Zuckerberg wrote that listen to this, senior Biden administration officials, including the White House, repeatedly pressured Meta to censor content related to the coronavirus pandemic in 2021. Also, here's another one. When we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption allegations involving then Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's family, Hunter Biden's laptop, we sent that story to fact checkers for review and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. It's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. Zuckerberg acknowledged, I'll applaud you for finding your balls 4 years later, but it's 4 years. And remember, they did polls where I think it was 1 out of 6 people said if they knew that that laptop was real and okay, they would not have voted for Biden. They would have voted for Trump. And remember that the election was decided by about 50,000 or whatever votes. So stop and think about that. So Musk exposes it that the Biden is colluding with the social media companies to censor free speech. Ramaswamy talked about it. He's a kook. And Zuckerberg says this is true. And the people like sheep are going to walk off and vote for Kamala. I'll give you the final word.
Yeah. Well, I mean, evidently they don't care. You know,
No.
these are the same people that will go get a booster this winter for that fabulous shot that worked so well. I don't know what to say about the I've resisted for so long and said no, people are not stupid, but I have to concede, yes, they are. It doesn't matter how much you prove this stuff. And look, they're still getting away with going after Giuliani because he had a copy of the laptop from hell, which now we know is legitimate. But they're still going after him because they're trying to take all his assets. They're trying to make him broke. They're making him an example, just like they did with all those decent citizens that are in jail for January 6th and have never had a real. There may be some bad guys in there, but I doubt it. I
Well,
really doubt it.
certainly not deserving of decade-long sentences.
No.
I mean, and again, we've talked about the 2020 riots that Kamala's, helping to fund their
Yeah.
bail and all this shit. And she's going to be the president of the United States. And these people actually, there were cops that were shot. There were dozens of cops that were injured. There were hundreds of people. I mean, it's just so insane. And it was all fine And all I hear about is January 6th every 20 seconds. So let's do this. I'm going to finish with this, and you can jump in because you talked about this, and this is a topic near and dear to your heart. So we're going to finish with our favorite segment. Tribute to stupidity. My tribute to stupidity this week is none other than people still wearing masks. I don't know what the hell to say to anyone. You've been told these don't do anything, but you hang in there, you mask-wearing madman, and you just keep wearing these masks. I go to the grocery store, I go to the produce stand, wherever the hell I go to work. People still wearing masks as though it's going to do a goddamn thing for you. Susan, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I always wore a mask long before it was fashionable because I work with children. And if I was getting sick, I'm sorry, I do think that they have some effect. I really do. It's going to keep, if you sneeze, it keeps droplets out. It doesn't keep the virus from getting in, but it can help. Now I won't wear one because I don't want to look like a leftist lunatic. But if I was ill, I would wear it around the kids. But I remember getting the strangest looks. Having a performance.
I don't spite. Look, if you are a dentist and you're working 12 inches from someone's face and you want to wear a mask, that's fine. I don't even care if the doctor wants to wear them. I don't care. But I just think that the average lay person walking around, I see people walking around outside wearing masks. I don't know what to say to them. It's utterly insane.
Well, double credit goes to those wearing masks in their car.
Yes, for sure. Always. All right, Susan.
Get away from them. You never know where they're going to turn.
You never know what they're thinking because they probably aren't. All right, Susan, another great episode. Thank you so much. Everybody, if you're not already doing it, check out the new Rumble channel, the Crusher Podcast. So it's got its own thing now. Okay, so check that out. All right.
Subscribe.